Have you ever thought about trying out plant-based diet? Well, here are 10 scientific reasons as to why you should start as soon as possible. Starting off at benefit number 1, a plant-based diet controls blood pressure. As you may already know, high blood pressure or hypertension can raise your risk of health problems such as heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. Fortunately, the foods you consume can greatly have an effect. Several studies have shown that eating a plant-based diet lowers blood pressure, lowers risk of heart disease, and stroke. Whilst we are discussing plant diet, the comparison with meat always comes up. The fact is that dismissing animal foods entirely can in fact make mealtimes unpleasant and make it difficult to obtain micronutrients such as B12 and iron, which are very difficult to obtain solely from plant-based foods. So to have a complete balanced diet, it's always a good idea to have plant-based diet as your main meal and small portions of meat to fill in those missing nutrients. A meta-analysis published in April 2014 in Internal Medicine looked at data from 39 studies and found that vegetarians had lower blood pressure on average than people who ate omnivorous diets, which included both plants and meat. Another research in the Journal of Hypertension in November 2016 discovered that vegetarians had a 34% lower chance of getting high blood pressure when compared to non-vegetarians. If you want to lower your blood pressure and protect your heart, then a simple hack that researchers have found to enormously benefit your diet is increase the number of plants in your diet, such as vegetables and whole grains, and reduce the amount of meat and dairy you consume. Just by using this simple hack in your diet, you are sure to take your health to the next level. Before we move on to tip number 2, if you are enjoying this video so far, then make sure to subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribed," and we will personally reply to each of your comments. Whilst we are on the topic of a healthy heart, let's dive into benefit number 2. A plant-based diet keeps your heart healthy and strong. Meat is made of saturated fat, which can cause heart problems if you consume it in large amounts. You'll be doing yourself a favor if you cut down on meat and consume more plant-based foods. When compared to a diet that contains a lot of meat, eating mostly or exclusively fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, whole grains, and meat substitutes like soy will definitely lower your risk of heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes. According to a report published in the Journal of the American Heart Association in August 2019, consuming a plant-based diet minimizes your risk of developing cardiovascular disease by up to 16% and dying from it by 31%. To reap these benefits, simply cutting down on meat is not enough. You still need to make sure that the plant-based foods you're eating are very nutritious. The most nutritious plant foods are whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables, and healthy oils, such as olive oil. With that being said, there are unhealthy plant foods as well that you should stay away from, such as refined grains and sugary beverages, because these can further increase your risk of heart disease. Benefit 3. A plant-based diet prevents type 2 diabetes. The relation between diet and type 2 diabetes is very well studied by science. According to the Mayo Clinic, uncontrolled weight is a big risk factor because more fatty tissues in your body make your cells more insulin resistant. But which diet is better for preventing type 2 diabetes? According to studies, a plant-based is the one. Statistics show that consuming a plant-based diet that is rich in high-quality plant foods decreases your risk of type 2 diabetes by 34%. This is because plants contain less saturated fats than animal foods, which boost cholesterol levels and increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Another research confirmed that non-vegetarians had a 7.6% prevalence of type 2 diabetes, whereas vegans had a 2.9% prevalence, meaning that if you are on a plant-based diet, you have a very less chance of ever getting diabetes. Benefit 4. A plant-based diet helps you lose weight. When you go from a meat-heavy to a plant-based diet, the risk of obesity decreases significantly. In short, plant eaters are less likely to gain weight, even though that isn't necessarily the primary target. The goal is to nourish your body and cells to improve your health goals, with weight loss being a cherry on top of replacing to a more plant-based diet. The Diabetes Care research found significant variations in body mass index between meat eaters and non-meat eaters. According to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, vegans have a BMI of 23.6, whereas non-vegetarians have a BMI of 28.8, which is considered overweight. So the bottom line is that eating more plants will help you lose weight. According to a small study published in March 2017 in Nutrition and Diabetes, 65 overweight adults lost 9.25 pounds on average after following a whole food, plant-based diet for 1 year. The reason why you can lose weight on a plant-based diet is because whole grains and vegetables have a low glycemic index, which means they are digested more slowly. Also, fruits are just so rich in antioxidants and fiber, which help you feel full for longer. Benefit 5. A plant-based diet helps you live longer. Yup, that's a bold statement. All of the other advantages we have mentioned here essentially lead to one big benefit, which is to living longer. According to a study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, a plant-based diet reduces your risk of death from all possible causes by 25%. What's even more interesting is that nutritious plant-based foods raise your defense, increasing your protection. Benefit number 6. A plant-based diet reduces your risk of cancer. Following a plant-based diet has many health benefits, as we've shown. But does it help prevent cancer? According to research, the answer may be yes. According to the American Institute for Cancer Research, eating a diet rich in vegetables, berries, grains, beans, nuts, seeds, and some animal foods is in fact the safest way to get cancer protective nutrients. These cancer protective nutrients include fiber, vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals. This is because these nutrients, which are found in plant foods, minimize your risk of getting many forms of cancer. In reality, consuming 6 oz of whole grain foods every day can reduce your risk of colorectal cancer by 21%. Benefit 7. A plant-based diet improves your cholesterol. Since animal products include saturated fats that increase blood cholesterol, so by eliminating meat and dairy from your diet will go a long way in helping reduce your high cholesterol levels. Even better, a vegetarian diet can reduce your risk of chronic diseases, such as obesity, high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and certain types of cancer. Vegetarian diets are low in overall saturated fat, but high in fiber, making it the best diet to lower and stabilize your cholesterol. If you have high cholesterol levels, it can cause you to have fatty deposits in your blood, which restrict blood flow and increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, and heart disease. When compared to omnivorous diets, plant-based diets reduce total cholesterol by 15 to 30%. But with that said, eating some chicken and fish is also recommended for reducing cholesterol. Benefit number 8. A plant-based diet keeps your brain strong. There are a lot of physical advantages to eating a plant-based diet, but there are also many mental advantages. Maintaining a plant-based lifestyle will give you clearer mind, enhanced mental ability, improved mental health, and reduced anxiety or depression. According to science, eating 100 grams of fruits and vegetables per day can go a long way in reducing your risk of cognitive decline and dementia by 13%. This is because fruits and vegetables are high in polyphenols. Polyphenols are chemicals that can help delay brain diseases, like Alzheimer's disease, and in fact reverse cognitive decline. Benefit 9. A plant-based diet minimizes your risk of stroke. Scientists in Taiwan found that eating a vegetarian diet, which is rich in nuts, soy, and vegetables, can reduce a person's risk of having a stroke. Your risk of stroke increases significantly, especially if you have high blood pressure, are overweight, have diabetes, smoke, drink, or are on prescribed medications. But don't worry. As we said, most of those risk factors can be eliminated by eating a plant-based diet and living a balanced lifestyle. After all, half of all strokes can be avoided. Simply start to eat more fruits and vegetables to lower your risk. Stats show that those who ate the most fruits and vegetables have a 21% lower risk of stroke than those who don't eat much fruits or vegetables. And lastly, benefit number 10. A plant-based diet prevents chronic disease. Unhealthy eating habits are the biggest cause of chronic illnesses. A common trend in these unhealthy diets is that they don't have good amounts of whole plant foods in them. Most unhealthy diets include eating a lot of processed foods and meat, and on top of that, not eating whole plant foods, such as fruits and vegetables. Having this type of unhealthy diet is the biggest cause of chronic disease, not only in America, but worldwide. As a matter of fact, unhealthy diets are responsible for 20% of all deaths in the world. Again, to avoid these illnesses, simply eat a plant-based diet which will prevent you from heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and other modern plagues. These diseases we just mentioned, like being obese or having diabetes, are very rare in vegans and vegetarians. If you do decide to go on a plant-based diet, then in no way are we stopping you from having meat here and there. But do make sure to eat plenty of plants if you want to reap the benefits of everything we have discussed in today's video. If you are already on a plant-based diet or keen on starting one, then we would all love to hear about your experience in the comment section below. For more videos like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we will see you in our next video.